What's up, everybody? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Thanks for coming back to the stream. I don't know. Streaming is like a live... It's like a performance, right? And if you do enough performances, you'll screw up. And yeah, I clicked all the wrong buttons in all the wrong order. And I have my computer's from 2009, so it's very slow, and I have like it's like workaround on top of workaround. And I have to like do things in a very specific order, like plug the microphone in, then do this thing on the microphone, then do this, then launch this program, then change this audio input, then do that. And if I get one of those things wrong, this is what happens. But thanks for coming back. In the chat, Espander was the first to find this new stream. Doc Murdoch, Free Range Chicken RC, Brian Ladmeroff, Frank Nicholas, Brandon Bentley, Gary Higgins, Splinter FPV, Christian Vlett, Banshee Frenzy again, Dan Richmond, T-Bird FPV, Chomper FPV, Creeper 420 FPV. Creeper 420 is a great name. Travis Easterday, Chopper FPV, Alexander, Espander, Drone Pilot, Private Island, E-Doc, and Matthew Vega are all of the people that are on the very first page of the live chat. If you'd like to talk to me directly, all you've got to do is type my name into the live chat. That is CiottiFPV. You can put the @ in front of it. It'll allow you to autocomplete, or you can just type CiottiFPV. And it'll light up an orange. I'll know that you're talking to me directly. If you don't do that, I'm assuming that you guys are talking amongst yourselves, which you should be doing because the chat stays with these live streams. So be on your best behavior, because 1,000+ people are going to see this live chat. And if you're being a jerk, which we already had in the previous live stream that I bombed, 1,000+ people are going to see you being a douche. So don't do it. Basic rules for life and the internet. If you would like me to continue doing this full-time, CiottiFPV.com has a bunch of ways that you can support me, because you guys literally pay my rent and my bills and all the things that are required for me to continue living as a 39-year-old human being. And for that, I am just greatly appreciative of every single one of you. There's like affiliate links over there if you're doing an Amazon order or an umbagod.com order or FPV Crate or Get FPV. All you got to do is hit one of those affiliate link buttons on my website first before you do the order, and then I'll get free money. And then there's a Teespring store with shirts like this, because as we all know...
諦めんなよ。諦めんな、お前。どうしてそこでやめるんだ、そこで。もう少し頑張ってみろよ。ダメ、諦めたら。周りのことを思うよ。応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろって。あともうちょっとのところなんだから。俺だってこのマイナス10度のところ、しじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ。絶対やってみろ。必ず目標達成できる。だからこそ、ネバギブアップ。
What you know about Clam Man? There's also an Etsy store with a whole bunch of stickers. We've got Clam Man, we've got the Collective, we've got this super cool 90s style holographic thing. We've just got my logo, but we've even got it in a magnet that you can stick to the inside of the hatch of your trunk, so that when you open your hatch back up to fly, boom, you've got pilot magnets up in there. I've got a... Oh god, I almost threw up. I've got a nut grabber sticker. We've got small stickers, large stickers, whatever you need. They're $5 per, because you're supporting me and just getting something for, you know, for that donation, basically, for your boy to keep doing this and keep testing and giving you guys some, hopefully, really good content. So yeah, I appreciate all of you awesome people who've helped me already. Just coming and hanging out helps YouTube, so even just by attending these streams or watching the replays, you are helping me out. If you want to do more, there's a bunch of ways that you can. If not, hang out. That's all I've ever wanted. All of these other things have come from the community suggestions, and you guys suggesting them in the chat. And yet again, forever grateful for that. You guys have been amazing. Doc Murdoch says we're here. Free range chicken. Gary Higgins, Banshee Frenzy all tagged me. Alexander says, does the frame you sent me photos of have a name? It does, Alexander. I'll send it to you over on Discord. Mark Kunoff in the house. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up to try to find my place. There it is. Chomper FPV saying hey. Drone Pilot Don Ladd saying hey, tagging me. Private Island says, on a bright note, you're adept at nonverbal communication. You told us to hold on. And you guys did it. Chomper FPV says, you don't normally make this mistake, so I think we can allow it. We're here for your buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a while since I biffed a stream that was straight up my fault. Brian Ladmeraw says, I was talking to Tommy about the small batch of 3500 kV motors he's making. They're only available for people who are in the know. Can you let us know on Patreon or something? When you say, can you let us know on Patreon or something, Brian, what do you mean by that? Like, do you want me to let you know when they're available or how they are, or whenever I get my hands on them, I'll be all over the stream. Like, I'll be talking about them on these streams, and then I'll be doing the 250. Ooh, I'll be doing the 250 build with the 250 build with them. So yeah, there'll be lots of content surrounding those 2004 3500s. So stay tuned. Drone Pilot says, so we can't be a douche canoe. You guys can be whatever you want. I have faith in you guys. If you guys want to be douche canoes, I have faith that you can do that. Douche canoe has been one of my favorite, just sort of, I don't know, word combinations. What do you call that? Phrase? I don't know. It's been a favorite of mine forever. It just makes me laugh every time. Drone Pilot says, I wondered why you almost gagged when you said nut grabber. Just curious. I didn't gag. That's nonsense. It's because I was grabbing my own nuts. Gary Higgins says, say hello to your wife. Hello. All right. Brian Ledmeraw says, when they are available. Got it. Dropped frames, 2.3%. That's not good. So I guess YouTube is having issues today because Joshua was having problems too, and I pretty much never have problems. The number of dropped frames is 427, which is the cubic inch of one of my favorite Ford motors of all time. So I'll keep my eye on that, and I'll notice if it changes. Define douche canoe. I've never actually thought that much about it. I've just said it and giggled and moved on. So if it actually means what you said it means, Private Island, I guess I can see that, but I literally never thought about it. Did some whatever. Did some flying yesterday. It's nothing interesting happened. I'm caught up on the chat. That's good news. Do we just dive right on into Velocidrone? Is that the deal? I'm gonna launch it, and we'll see what happens. I did break on my first battery with these V3 ducts from FPV Cycle. I did break them, unfortunately. So yeah, back to the cloud ducts for me. The $2 per cloud ducts. I have a whole bunch of. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing, but it was my own fault. I crashed it, and yeah, when you crash, things break. So yeah, I don't know. I flew it around for like a minute and a half on the V3 ducts before I blew them up, and it was exactly what I thought. They're a lot shorter than. Oh well, here, look. I have the I have the cloud ducts on the rear and the V3 ducts on the front, right? So the V3 ducts, because they're shorter vertically, as the quad is moving through the air, it moves faster, which is exactly what I expected from the V3 ducts. When I'm cinewhooping, I want to go very slowly. Like, I only really use cinewhoops when I want to go really slow. So I kind of prefer the flight dynamics of the cheapo cloud ducts. So yeah, the V3 ducts would be good if you wanted to fly your cinewhoop faster. If I wanted to fly my cinewhoop faster, I think I would just take the ducts off, because once you've removed the ducts, the flight characteristics are going to be even better. But I don't know. I guess with the cloud ducts, if it's too slow, and then with no ducts at all, it's too fast. I guess the V3 duct would be the heat in that case. The other issue that I have with the V3 ducts is that you have to run Kebab's 2204 motor, and I find that motor to be a bit much for 3-inch props. If you were gonna do like the 8-blade, really heavy 3-inch cinewhoop props, I guess I can see it. But I'm really digging these X-Nova 1804s and the Brother Hobby 2004s. They keep the weight down a little bit more, and I really like the way that both of my Cinesplores feel lightened up like that. So yeah, I'm just going to be going back to the cloud ducts. I have a whole ton of them because they're like $2 per or whatever, and I just like the flight characteristics. For me, ducts are for keeping people's fingers from getting chopped off and slowing the quad down. They are not for increasing thrust. I don't need to increase thrust on these Cinesplore builds. They're plenty lightweight. They've got plenty of runtime, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm very happy with the Cinesplore with the cheap cloud ducts on 1804s or 2004s with either the tri-blade. So these are HQ's 75 millimeter. It's like a 2.9 inch propeller, and I have these on because these V3 ducts are really tight, and because these motors are a little bit short. So these are the only propellers that don't rub on these V3 ducts. Now that I'm taking these V3 ducts off and I'm going to go back to the cloud ducts, I'm going to move back to the Gemfan 3 and 5 blade propellers because they perform a lot better than these HQ 75s and just, I mean, the HQ props in general. So yeah, it was a little experiment. It kind of turned out exactly as I expected. Yeah, I had this same problem with Stan FPV ducts. Every time I got into any kind of a crash, they would just completely explode. So like, I guess if you never crash and if you're putting them on for people, like I don't think if you bumped into a person that the 3D printed duct would explode. But yeah, I crash. So I'm going with the molded cheap cloud ducts. Not saying that they're better. Period. They're just better for me. So yeah, there's that. Drone Pilot says, has anyone seen the power loop done with a simulator of the Mars drone? I have not, but that sounds pretty awesome. Brian Ladbrough says, I am sending you a very durable set of ducks. They got returned because I'm an idiot and got the address wrong. Thank you, Brian. And you're not an idiot, you're human. And as humans, the thing that separates us from cyborgs is that we make mistakes. So I love that you made that mistake, Brian. It means that you're not a cyborg and we can be friends. Rick Cepeda says, send me files of some ducts you like and I will print you some sets. There really aren't. I mean, unless there was an exact replica of the cloud duct here, at which point, like, why bother, right? The other thing that I don't like about the 3D printed ducts is they're very heavy. Here, look. Look at the weight difference. It's kind of absurd. I'll show it to you guys so that you know you can trust me. So here is a 3D printed duct. Here's a 3D printed duck. Come on now. And then here is a molded cloud whatever duck. Now I'm saying duck on purpose. I actually thought there was more of a weight difference than that. Is that only a 3 gram weight difference? 10.6? Huh. I thought it was more of a difference than that. Okay. But 12 grams. 12 grams total. I mean, it's hard to find 12 grams. So, yeah, a weight difference is a weight difference. But the other reasons that I mentioned are the main reasons that I prefer the molded ducts. But again, no wrong answers. If you guys prefer the 3D printed ducts, that's totally valid. I'm just this is just my experience and my use, I guess, right? Like the way that I use a Cinewhoop is potentially different, not better, right? There is no better, unless it's like, you know, better for you specifically. Cool Coyote says your quad wall art at least doubled since I last saw it. Yeah, Cool Coyote. So the over here, like broken prototype. There's another broken prototype here. There's another broken prototype over there rather. This is absolute last stand backup rig that flies like ass because it's on an AIO board, but it's like absolute last resort if everything else is broken. I never fly it, so yeah, it's always there. And then this is the Moon Goat here, and then the Cinesplorers usually go there. Usually there's one Cinesplore there, and there's one Cinesplore there. Up here, my God, this is hard. That's what she said. Up here are my working 5-inch rigs. So like, if there are no rigs up here, that means everything's broken, which was the case for most of this week. But I got a bunch of stuff fixed this week, so now I've got some working 5-inch glides up there. So that's why you see this area sort of always in flux, is because, yeah, you get to see how many rigs I have working at any given time. Dan Richmond says, I had a bad crash and it bent all the arm bolts and cracked an arm, but do the bolts usually bend or arms usually break first? This was 6mm arms, bot grinder banger. Really good question, Dan. The answer to that question is completely dependent on each individual frame. It's actually one of the elements of frame design that I find super interesting, and it's one of the reasons why I've gravitated towards the glide frame. So it's almost like you pick, right? Like, so I don't have any experience with that particular frame, so I can't speak to that frame. What I can speak to is the Apex frame versus the glide frame. The Apex frame is 20 grams heavier, which is the main reason that I don't run that frame. The other reason is that it's twice as expensive as the glide. The Apex arms are 5.5 millimeters thick versus the glide arms that are 5 millimeters thick. And they're also wider. The Apex arms are a little bit wider. So there's more strength in the arm, but what I've been hearing from a lot of people is that the arms don't break, but the hardware breaks. And then you've got like hardware sort of like stripped out, like the heads are broken off or it's broken off inside the standoff. Something is going to break, like, period. Our rigs are too heavy. We have sacrificed everything for performance, right? We only fly 3 or 4 minutes at a time. That's crazy. Like, when we tell people that and they go, oh my God, like, they're not the weird ones. We're the weird ones that have just sacrificed everything for performance, right? And because of that, the crashes that we get into are unsurvivable. something is going to break. It might be the motor, it might be the propeller, it might be the arm, it might be the hardware, it might be the base plate, it might be the GoPro. Something is going to break, right? It's about, and we've got enough frame options now where we can choose what breaks, right? So people that go with the Apex frame are choosing to have the hardware be what breaks, and they're choosing to have to, remove stripped hardware. People that go with the Glide frame, like myself, we are choosing the arm to be the breaking point. And in my experience with a lot of different frames, I prefer that. The arms are strong enough to take a shitload of abuse, but once the amount of energy being put into the arm is enough to demolish the motor, mainly, the Glide arm is going to break before the motor gets completely demolished. And I prefer that. The frames with stronger arms are going to put more of that energy into the motor, whereas on the Glide, the arm is going to give, instead of the arm standing strong and being immovable and all that energy going into the motor and blowing up a $25 motor that you have to resolder and all that shit, right? On the Glide, the arm is going to break once the amount of energy gets absurd. So as the arm is breaking, it's going to absorb that extra energy, and a lot of times it'll save the motor. So I replace more arms than motors, and arms are like between $5 and $7 and very straightforward and easy to fix out in the field. Motors are not. It took me a long time to learn that lesson. To give you some kind of a visual, this is how many motors that I've been through in that path to self-discovery or whatever. But yeah, that's sort of where I land on the what frame to run. Not even what frame to run, because there's a whole bunch of other reasons that I prefer the Glide frame. The dead cat arms, the fact that you can put the flight controller up front, run 15mm standoffs. The list is long. That's what she said. But yeah, in terms of arms, that's sort of my philosophy. So as you crash a frame more and more and more, you're going to get to see like where the weak point is, because there's going to be a weak point somewhere. It is a shopping cart for ants. What a great movie. I haven't watched that in forever. So yeah, there's some frame thoughts for you guys. Great question, Dan. Great question. Alexander says, send me ideas and I will draw things that Rick can print for you. Sounds good, Alexander. We will talk more on Discord. Tiago says, damn, you aren't friends with cyborgs, damn. Nick Sebring says, back from flying with my nephew. Now I'd like to hear your take on AIO or stack for my 2.5-inch tadpole. Nick, I'm going to refer you to yesterday's stream. About halfway through yesterday's stream, I went on like a half an hour tirade about AIOs and how bad they are for the hobby, in my opinion. The highlights are that your gyro should be on a PCB that is as free to move around as possible. And one of the ways that you can make a PCB not move around freely is by hooking a whole bunch of wires up to it that are thicker than 30 gauge. That's what an AIO is. An AIO is going to have 12 motor wires hooked up to it, and all of those motor wires are going to want to keep that AIO from moving. And that is the worst possible thing for our flight software. We fly vibrators, straight up. Even if when you first build it, it's not all vibraty, the second that you start flying it, it turns into a vibrator. Every piece of scraggle you smack into, every propeller you bend back straight, everything that happens adds more and more and more and more and more vibrations to the quad. And as you replace parts, so the vibrations get worse and worse and worse, and then you'll replace like a motor and it'll get and it'll go down a little bit, and the like as you replace the motor, it'll get a little bit better, but then as soon as you fly it again, the vibrations will get worse, and it keeps doing this. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse because everything wears on the frame. The arms wear, the hardware starts moving around, the motors get worse and worse and worse. You know, you bend a propeller back. So having your gyro on a PCB that only has the minimum possible number of 30 gauge wires connected to it performs miles better than having an AIO that also has all the electrical noise from the ESC on it, right? Let's not forget about that. But the AIO is going to have 12 thick gauge motor wires holding it in place, and then 2 even thicker gauge battery wires holding it in place. And this is why all the toothpick people have so many problems with tuning. With a rig with a 20x20 stack, Betaflight defaults fly amazing, and then you can go up from the defaults to have a rig that flies even more amazing. Toothpicks, typically you have to go down from the defaults because of this, because there are so many vibrations getting into that AIO because it's being held in place by all of these wires, and that's one of the worst things you can possibly do. And the fact that AIOs are only 3 grams lighter, and that 3 grams is going to go out the window because the frames have to be designed in a very stupid way to accept such a dumb size 26x26 board that's then also canted at a 45-degree angle. And then if anything blows up, you've got to replace the whole thing, so you're out 70 or 80 bucks. All the electrical noise is on the same board. There's no advantage in build simplicity, right? The only difference in building between an AIO and a 20x20 stack is on a 20x20 stack, you have to go plug, plug, and that's it. It's the same amount of soldering. Yeah, sure, you're soldering to the same board, but who cares? What does that matter? Christ, a lot of the AIO builds that I've done have been more of a pain because everything is on that one board and everything is smashed up, versus a 20x20 stack. You drop the ESC down, you solder the motor wires to it, you plug, you drop the flight controller down, you solder the flight controller stuff up, and you're good to go. If you need to move things around, you can unplug the cable from the ESC to the flight controller, and you can independently move around the flight controller with the VTX camera and receiver independently of the motors and the ESC, right? So yeah, I struggle to find a single thing better about the AIOs than a 20x20 stack, and I've done at least a dozen builds over the last 4.5 years with AIOs. Like I've been using AIOs from the very beginning because they've been around forever. And every single time I do a board with an AIO and a similar build with a, I think I just said board. Every time I do a build with an AIO and I have a similar build with a 20x20 stack, the 20x20 stack build flies miles better. And I like my quads to fly good. So yeah, down with AIOs in my opinion. They just don't have any benefits. Like, straight up, there are no benefits. There are like imaginary benefits. Okay, here's a benefit. On a toothpick build, only on a toothpick build, that's the only build that they make any sense, it allows you to run your camera a little bit lower. Here's the problem with that. Toothpick builds are infinitely bottom heavy, and that makes the situation even worse. So you could say that having having the camera lower also has more props in view, which is, in my opinion, a bad thing. I guess you could say, it's a bit of a stretch, but you could say that by having the camera a little bit lower, it's going to crash a little bit better. It's a stretch, but okay, sure. So just that one benefit, and then everything else is a negative. It certainly seems like an AIO would be an easier build, but think about that for a second. There you go. Right? It's not. It's absolutely not any easier. and it's only 3 grams lighter. And those 3 grams are going to get obliterated by the fact that the frame design is going to have to support that 26 by 26 stack, and I guarantee you're going to add 3 grams or more of carbon in order to do that. Not to mention that just having a bit like building, we don't need to build base plates wide like that anymore. We can build our base plates narrow. Like, think about how frame design has progressed. And it has not progressed wider, right? We've been progressing narrower. We now have nano cameras that are 14 millimeters wide that give us every bit of image quality in an analog setup as the old HS111 or whatever the hell they were, big wide-ass full-size cameras. Let's not go backwards. Let's go forwards with FPV, right? 20 by 20. It's better. It's better. Double A is in the house. I guess you don't have to go look at yesterday's video, Nick, because I went on a goddamn rant again today. So there you go. If you want to rehear that rant, go to yesterday's A Day in the Life Patreon only. Oh, yesterday's video was Patreon only. That's right. Just in case you didn't know, I do stream every day. The streams are public when they're live, but then the replay of the stream is only available over on Patreon, so you're going to have to pay me 10 cents per stream. That's what it costs you to get into my Patreon. It's 10 cents a day. So, sorry, but you got to give me a dime every day that you want a stream. If you want to stream every day. You got to give me a dime every day if you want a daily stream from me. Or you can just click the buttons down here and be on top of your notifications, and then you can get my daily streams free of charge. Hopefully that's fair. If not, just kidding. I love you guys. Brian Ladmiral says, mine weigh 12 grams with the brass inserts. I like the lower profile ducts by far. It just handles much better in my opinion. Yeah, the lower profile ducts will like handle. Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on what your definition of handling is, right? For me, like handling on a Cinewhoop is going nice and slow. And just getting the nice, slow, gradual, like, yeah, and the cloud ducts do a better job from the limited experience the limited time that I spent on the V3s. But I mean, it just makes sense, right? More of a vertical face is going to be more wind resistance, and it's just going to force the rig to fly slower. It's all about what you want. Everybody has a different style of flying. I know a lot of people don't do anything with the footage from their Cinewhoops, right? They don't do anything like cinematic with it. They just fly them for fun, and that's not a bad thing. That's great. Those people will probably prefer a little bit of a faster Cinewhoop. For me, the Cinewhoop is a tool for getting footage for like motion picture-y stuff. And in that use case, I prefer it to be a little bit slower. But there's no wrong answers, which is what's awesome about this hobby and life. Drone Pilot says, I sit here thinking grams. I look at nearest 100 grams on my babies. Drone Pilot, make your fat rigs lighter. They'll fly better. Grams make ounces. Ounces make pounds. Brian, oh wait, no, we got that. Family Guyver says, I was looking at the Mobula 6, but it said FR Sky D8. My X-Lite only does D16. Oh my god. Can you change in Betaflight? Nope. You cannot, Family Guyver. Send a letter to FR Sky and be like, WTF, mates? Why are you like this? Why? Why are you taking functionality away from your goddamn transmitters and forcing me to buy used gear? Or modules. You could probably find a module that'll do D8. FR Sky. Why? Why are you doing this to us? YouTube did the thing, scrolling back up, lots of orange. All right, here we go. Let me get caught up on chat. Ready? My goddamn tape fell down. I have this piece of green electric tape that keeps falling down that I keep putting back up on this window because the stupid things hit me in the eyeballs. There it is. It's this one. Hold on. Hopefully it was driving someone crazy, and I'm making someone's life a little bit better by doing this. But mainly I'm doing this for me. You're allowed to be crazy, but you do have to cop to it. Alright, that's better. Alright, here we go. Getting caught up on chat so that we can dive into Velocidrone. Gotta find my spot though. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for making streaming that much more difficult. There it is. Espander says, quad is a bit shaky in a straight line, and especially in the wind. 5-inch stock tune RPM filtering on, sliders at 2.0. Don't know much about tuning. Where do I start? Espander, you need more. Well, it depends. What motor and propellers are you running? If you're running a 2306 motor and lightweight propellers, then all you really need to do is push more P and D gain in, more than likely. You might need to pull your filtering sliders down from 2.0 to do that, which is totally fine. Anything beyond like 1.5 on those sliders, you really start to get into like diminishing returns. Your quad will fly much better with those sliders at 1.5 with more P and D gain than at 2.0. For you guys, it would be here. Then 2.0 with less P and D gain. But it has a lot to do with the motor prop combo that you're running. Tiago says, check the coastal track in Velocidrone. Unfortunately, the coastal track is there's too much going on. It doesn't run on this old computer. Espander says, is that shopping cart for ants? It is. Drone Pilot says 1,200 grams, light 7-inch all-up weight build with almost 3,000 mAh 6S battery. It's toss a coin up in the air as to what will break. I wish I had the ability to just swap out arms in a crash. I really would. Leadfingers says, made a CiottiFPV watch party lobby in Velocidrone, come fly. Very cool. Brian Ladmiraw says, I also have some ducts made of TPU, which are interesting and will not break. They weigh 10 grams. I thought TPU was heavier. Yeah, I thought so too. 10 grams ain't bad. Calvin Rowland says, my RCRX was in water for 10 minutes, but it seems to be working. It lights up and connects to my Tyrannus. Should I expect worse range? Nope. Electronics either work or they don't. Usually electronics either work or they don't. Fresh water is not much of an issue. Salt water is what really causes an issue. If your rigs ever get wet with fresh water, get the battery unplugged as quick as you possibly can, put them in front of a fan, and just wait. The worst thing that you can do is go, oh, I have to know if it still works, and put power to it. You can't do that. You just have to wait. Pretty much every single rig that you see has been fully submerged, including my tiny whoops, have been fully submerged in fresh water at some point in their lives, and I've put them on top of a fan, waited 24 hours, and all is right with the world. I don't actually think I've lost anything to water. I feel like maybe I lost a camera at some point, but I don't know. I've put so many rigs in like either fully submerged or in the rain or snow or whatever, and just get the battery unplugged, let it dry. On my ride home, I'll put it on the floor of the car and run the heat full blast. Yeah, give it the time to dry out. if it's really disgusting, like if you put it into like wet mud, get a bottle of isopropyl on your way home, alcohol, and douse it with the isopropyl alcohol. That will clean all the disgusting shit out, and it'll also chase all the water out. You can even go in there with a toothbrush. But yeah, fresh water is not an issue. Electronics are shockingly durable. Durable is a weird word there, but you know what I mean. Mark Kunoff says, some tips for Velocidrone in the regular quad settings. You can adjust things like cam angle, but some very useful settings to reduce floatiness, increase drag, lift, and quad weight 10%. When we go into Velocidrone in a minute, I'm going to show you guys my settings. I don't increase the drag or the quad weight, but I do decrease the thrust quite a bit, which in my opinion makes it feel a lot better. But yeah, I'll show you guys that in a little bit here. Mark also says increasing the drag settings by 10% can also reduce unrealistic float and more like actual gravity. I basically do that by reducing the amount of thrust. Mark also says in the advanced settings you can adjust PIDs and rates. Yeah, make sure you get your rates in there for sure. Joan Pilot says, I have an F722 here that has a current meter where you pass battery cables through it. Can you imagine the tuning issues I couldn't solve until I removed those cables? 2 in, 2 out, Maytech SE, horrible. Yeah, yeah. Leadfingers says, would you have to go up in PIDs when flying at altitude? Colorado gang. It's a really interesting question. The PID loop, the error correction, is going to correct all, well, so what's interesting about that question is that, so we think about a rig moving through the air, right? And then a breeze hits it. If the breeze is really dense air, it's going to hit the quad really hard. If the breeze is thin air, it's not going to hit the quad as hard. So that would mean that you wouldn't actually need to increase the PID loop. But alternatively, for things like bounce back, but see, bounce back is now taken care of with iTerm relax. But other quad dynamics, low altitude, see, what's interesting is low altitude is going to take thrust away, and then and that's going to scale, you know, it's like motor scaling. I think the answer is no, because at altitude you're basically just using the motor scaling, and you're just motor scaling down because the air is thinner, and that gives you less like grip sort of over the air. So I don't think so. I don't think you need to adjust your PID loop at altitude, because everything changes, right? The whole system changes. The whole system has less thrust, and less thrust means less momentum. Oh, but your rates don't change. Your rates don't change. So there's still a static amount of, when you go full stick over, there's still a rotational rate that it's going to hit, and it's going to push harder to get to that rotational rate. So then when it stops, yeah, so you might need a little bit more PID authority. It's a really interesting question. I didn't notice it. So here in Atlanta, I'm at 1,000 feet above sea level. Previous to here, I lived in Charleston, which is below sea level, basically, which is why Charleston will not exist in probably 10 to 15 years. And I didn't notice any difference. I mean, although I also didn't notice a difference in like total thrust. That's a really good question. I don't know. But it only seems like that one scenario, right? Max rotational rate. That is the only thing I can think of that would potentially be affected by thin versus thick air. Hopefully that makes sense to you. God, that's a good question, Lead Fingers. I'll be thinking about that question for the next week, and so come to the daily streams, and at some point I'll probably have an epiphany and talk more about it. Joan Pilot says, and that was on a 7-inch build. Brandon Bentley says, damn it, why you gotta be right? Why you like your quads to fly good? Nick Sebring says, that's what I need to hear. Thanks, you're certainly welcome. Family Guyver says, what's a good stack to use in place of an AIO on a 5-inch ultralight build? Scroll down into the description, Family Guyver. I've got all of the gear that I use and trust with some affiliate links to GetFPV, Banggood, and Amazon. And then message me at CiottiFPV wherever you'd like if you have any other questions, and we'll talk more about your build. Or if you want to book me for a half an hour or an hour-long session, if you go to CiottiFPV.com, I do have a Fiverr store where you guys can book a half an hour or an hour of my time to help you tune, to help you spec out your rigs, to just ask me one-on-one questions, right? So that you don't have to wait for me to read your comment 25 minutes later in the chat. That's one of the things, that is one of the ways that I'm really hoping to turn FPV into a career. I'm going to be launching a website called fpvinstructor.com, and I'm going to move everything off of Fiverr over there. And yeah, I've done probably 40 or 50 one-on-one sessions so far. Everybody has loved them. Most people are very excited to come back and do a part 2 session, or they worked with me on tuning and they want to come back and talk to me about speccing out a 3-inch build. So yeah, I want to do that for you guys. I was a driving instructor at autocross and track days for almost 10 years previous to FPV, and I really just kind of fell in love with just in my life, my experience with cars was get really good at driving, get really good at suspension tuning, and then help other people to get as good as possible, as fast as possible. And I just fell in love with that process. Like, driving is just as difficult. It's just as challenging of a skill in the moment, with just as much chaos going on as FPV. And having someone who's spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours help you one-on-one will give you an advantage, and it'll save you hundreds of hours. Like, could you have gotten there on your own? Absolutely. I did. But it took me forever. So if you've got an extra $40 or you've got an extra $80 and you want to save yourself 100 hours, I can help you do that. In the chat, YouTube did the thing again, scrolling back up. There is where I was. Drone Pilot says, I learned the hard way in tuning that having your flight controller not only separate but also secured well with the grommets tight but no compression to deform them fixed on the solid posts. Yeah, very, very important. We talk about that here on all of the builds, and I do my best to kind of show you guys my process of kind of tightening the nuts on the flight controller just enough but not too much. And with this stupid Logitech webcam, it's a little challenging to really show you guys that, but I try to talk you through it because it makes a huge difference. The physical vibration damping that you get from the grommets on the flight controller is absolutely paramount to having a quad that flies right. If you don't get that right, you can spend 1,000 hours tuning and your rig is still going to fly like a bag of smashed assholes, I promise you. I've been there. I've done that. I've got a closet full of t-shirts. Brian Ladmorale says, for some builds like my digital TP3 with Naked Vista or my digital Hornet, awesome micro, the toothpick boards are the only way to go. I use F7 AIOs, which fly awesome, Hyphonic, which work well. Love that you're getting them to fly good, Brian, but just like from a physical, here in the universe standpoint, right? If you move those rigs over to 20x20 stacks where there were less things preventing the PCB that the gyro sits on from floating around, it would fly better. But it is great that you're able to get those to fly well with the AIOs, since it's your only option for the flight controller and ESC. Yeah, I would much rather the frame designers and sort of the industry get their heads out of their asses and design frames properly for 20x20 stacks, because it's just, yeah, I mean, hopefully I described it in a way that makes sense, where it's just, there's no getting around it. There's just no getting around hooking a bunch of wires up to something, not having that kill its ability to vibrate around on the grommets. And it just drives me nuts that there are frames that force you into using AIOs, because, I mean, actually, it doesn't drive me. It drives me nuts for your guys' sake, but for me, it makes my frame. It makes choosing a frame a lot easier, because a frame like that is instantly it's a deal breaker. So that frame is just instantly dead to me. And luckily, we've got a million other frames that are available. So it's like so the Miata is going to be going away. And I'm just going to buy the cheapest possible thing that I can find. But I'm not going to buy a car that's not a manual transmission. And so, like, every time I've ever gone to buy a car, I just click the box for manual only, and 1,000 options slim down to like 5 options. And it's like, great, no more analysis paralysis. I've got 5 options, here they are. I'm going to buy one of these, or I'm just going to wait longer. So yeah, it's nice in that it cuts down the selections. Haveboard says, so I've been mostly flying Tiny Hawks and wondering what a good AIO would be to replace the stock board. I know I'll need an adapter. Tiny Hawks. Oh man, I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know you could do an adapter. I thought the shape of the Tiny Hawk sort of forced you into running the Emax specific setup, which the Emax specific setup is very unreliable and, in my opinion, a deal breaker. Which is fine, because the Tiny Hawk frame really isn't all that great either. There's just a lot better frames available for not a whole lot of money. So Haveboard, I don't know, think about maybe swapping to a different frame, and then you can hopefully get away from an AIO and get into a 20x20 stack that's going to be so much better for you. That would be my recommendation, partly because I just don't know which AIOs are good, because all I ever hear about every single one of the AIOs is that they're all trash and they blow up constantly, and that's been my experience as well. Apparently this $80 or $90 H7 Monster or Gorilla or whatever the hell it's called AIO is good, but I don't know, man. I would certainly not want to put an $80 or $90 AIO into a Tiny Hawk. That seems like just putting my wiener on the desk and smashing it with a hammer. Moving on. Haveboard says that would work with Caddocks Turtle. Oh, that would work with a Caddocks Turtle. Yeah, Haveboard, I think my suggestion is still going to be to move on from that frame. There's a lot of stronger frames that aren't much heavier. Cool Coyote says you should start a build a gaming PC fund. So I've had a lot, and I appreciate all of you guys that have reached out to me and said that exact same thing. The whole like fund things, you know, they all end up going towards paying bills. I'm not in a place financially that I can spend money on building a gaming PC or like any of the, or buying a car or a lot of these things. So yeah, like the whole fundraising thing, like it just goes to bills and debt, and that's just sort of the way it's going to have to be for a while. So again, I super appreciate all of you guys that have reached out with that suggestion. And it's a great suggestion, for somebody that's, in a little bit of a better financial situation than I am. So yeah, again, I appreciate it, but unfortunately, it's just not. Yeah, I'm turning 40 in a couple months. I have to be boring and adult a little bit, and work on, getting back on my feet, because 2020 was a bit of a disaster, but it was a learning opportunity, and it's in the past, and I'm moving on. In life and in the chat. Copter612 says, are you going to use your standard 20x20 stack in the 250? Absolutely. Do you have any idea when Oh My God is going to have the frames? No idea whatsoever, Copter. Sorry. Flylow says, unplugging it underwater make a difference? I've heard yes. I've never had every single time I've realized that my rig is underwater, which at this point, it's happened enough times where. So what happens when your rig goes underwater? The way that you know your rig has gone underwater is that you lose video like that, and you'll usually be like, oh fuck, the water is near. You'll hit Scraggle and you'll be like, oh, I'm near the water, and then maybe you'll take a tumble, but it's happened to me enough where I can just tell that sequence of events happens, oh, I hit Scraggle, I'm tumbling, I'm near the water, the video just immediately goes away, where it's goggles off, run, and by the time I get there, my thought is not unplug it underwater, my thought is just get it the hell out of the water. So I've never actually done that. I've always pulled it out of the water and then unplugged it, and it's always been fine. But I don't know electricity all that well, and people that do know electricity well have said make sure that you unplug it while it's still underwater. So maybe eventually, after it's happened 100 times, I'll have the forethought to unplug it when it's still underwater. But yeah, usually I'm just trying to get it out of the water as fast as possible. Oh God. Ooh, yikes. Mark Kunoff says, I'll try the reduced thrust method. Nice, awesome. Family Guyver says, the answer with different altitudes is changing pitch on props to become more aggressive at higher altitudes. Unfortunately, Family Guyver, in doing so, more pitchy props are heavier. So you're actually, you're going to create more thrust, but you're going to wreck the PID loop, the error corrections performance, because you're going to increase the response time. So it's unfortunately not as easy as just going to a higher pitch prop, because when you bring that response time down, now you definitely have to increase P, mainly P gain, or motor width. So going to a more pitchy prop actually adds quite a bit more additional confusion is a word. It's not really the right word, but I think you know where I'm going with that. Brian Ladmiral says, you should just need a higher pitch prop at higher altitude. It Starts says, what's the difference between scaled motor output and scaled throttle, and which should we use, or which one is better than the other? Great question from It Starts. So let's use the terms that Betaflight uses. In the PID tab, it's called motor scaling, and it scales both the throttle output as well as the PID performance. So the easiest way for you to think about motor scaling is that it just changes the kV of the motor. So you put 2400, I have 2400 kV 6S rigs. I go into the motor scaling and I scale those down to 70%. And what happens is this. This is not actually what happens, but for all intents and purposes, we take 2400 kV and we multiply it by a scale of 0.70 in the motor scaling, and that 2400 kV motor becomes a 1680 kV motor. It does that, it does that by magic, black magic and witchcraft, right? But that's what happens. It turns it into a lower kV motor. It scales everything. It scales the PID loop, the error correction. It scales the total amount of throttle. It scales it all. And it gives you the exact experience of that 2400 kV motor becoming a 1680 kV motor. Hi! And then in your rates tab, there is throttle scaling. And all the throttle scaling does is scale the throttle stick itself. It doesn't do anything to the PID loop. So, if I were to take these 2400 kV 6S rigs and I were to do throttle scaling, it would not scale the PID loop. So the PID loop would have access to a horrendous amount of power, right? Because 6S and 2400 kV, that's too much. That's way too much kV for 6S. I guess that's it. Yeah. So like the easy thing to do is just to use motor scaling. So here's where I would maybe use throttle scaling. Let's say you're running, so two of my other glide rigs are on the 6S kV motors, which is 1850 kV, I think. Yeah, 1850 kV. So those rigs, I have the motor scaling at like 95% just because those motors make a little bit too much power. So on those rigs, let's say I've got the PID loop completely dialed in, and I don't want to change the PID loop performance at all, but I want a little bit less on the throttle stick, right? At full throttle, I just want a little bit less horsepower, but I don't want to go into the motor scaling and go down lower on the motor scaling, which would affect my PID tune, which is locked in. In that case, you would use the throttle scaling. All that being said, I move my motor scaling up and down by 10%, like a lot, and it has very little effect on the PID loop. Unless you have like an absolute razor's edge PID tune that like you've spent 20 hours dialing in and you've looked at 50 black box logs, that's not how I tune. Having a tune that's that razor's edge doesn't allow you to do things like bending propellers back or running banged up motors. It basically gives you a rig that performs just like KISS and Flight 1, which is that if everything on the rig is absolutely brand new, it's going to be totally fine. But as soon as things start getting banged up, they just can't handle the vibrations. Betaflight allows, one of the greatest things about Betaflight and the RPM filtering is that if you have your tune backed off a little bit from that razor's edge, you can beat the living hell out of your quads, bend propellers back, have like prop blades that are wobbling all over the place, and it doesn't care. It comes back with cool motors, happy to see ya, and then you send it right back out into Chaosville. So yeah, there you go. Another long answer to a short question. YouTube did the thing, scrolling back up. There we go. Great question. It starts. Great question. Pro Hat Mexico says, did you know if I can connect tow ECS to a flight controller in an all-in-one with the CLI of Betaflight? Pro Hat Mexico, I've never heard of tow ECS. Tag me again and let me know what tow ECS is, and I might be able to help you out. Chomper FPV says, PSA, if you fly near rivers with trees over it, you can't see fishing lines tangled or dangling down. Lost one on the river this week. Lesson learned. Oh, God. Chomper. Sorry, dude. That fucking blows. Oh, that blows. That blows. Mark Kunoff says, monofilament Scraggle. Ouch. Yeah. As if we didn't have enough pain in the ass with Scraggle. But it is starting to get warmer out, so we will have leaves soon enough. Haveboard says, I'm flying the freestyle, so there are more upgrade options. Thanks for the tip. You're welcome. Haveboard, if you want to talk through more of that, just hit me at CiottiFPV anywhere, and we'll I'll hook you up. Mark Kunoff says, please don't put that smashed to my head. Expander says, toss a coin at this beautiful bastard with a super chat of 2. I believe that's a pound squiggly. Thank you, Expander. Very, very kind of you. Expander also says, you can't say bastard in super chat. Nice. I didn't even notice it. I just read it as he said you had to type Blastard. Shameless FPV says, hey everybody, let's find ERIN used PC components. But so my first name is actually spelled AHREN. Isn't that crazy? Used PC components in the mail and do a live stream where he builds a PC. So first and foremost, PCs are not something that I will ever invite into my life unless I work at a company that pays me really well that is on PCs. So I super appreciate the sentiment there, but PCs and I just don't get along. And I've been a Mac guy from birth. I've had to use PCs at so many jobs that I've worked at. I took time to learn a little bit about them at some point. They didn't become any less infuriating. And at some point in my life, I just said, you know what? No, PC, no. Mac only. You can build a Velocidrone friendly PC cheaper than a 5-inch rig, which drives me nuts. But yeah, I have to, in life, sometimes you just have to, you gotta have deal breakers. You're allowed to have deal breakers in life. And I have mental illness problems that hit pretty hard at times, and PCs have a way of triggering that, unlike many things in my life. So yeah, unfortunately, PCs are out of the question for me. But again, I super appreciate the sentiment and the thought. Very cool of you, brother. Family Giver says, then the dreaded telemetry lost. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Usually I'm in like a full sprint by the time telemetry lost screams on the radio. And sometimes I've even dropped the transmitter to the ground to be able to run even faster if I know exactly where it is. Nick Sebring says, I think I missed something in that long discussion. Does flying over water absorb video signal causing you to crash? No, Nick. It happens when the quad goes into the water. Radio waves do not transmit very well I think they transmit well, like when they go into the water, they transmit within the water, but they can't get out of the water, is basically what I think is going on. But yeah, no, water doesn't like absorb it. I think it bounces right off of it. But yeah, you lose video the second, and telemetry the second that it hits the water, because the water just like, once the antennas are inside the water, it sucks up all the antenna-ness. Only the best technical answers here. Oh my god, I hit the bottom of the chat. That was weird. Mark Kunov says, don't open that black hole of Mac versus PC. Eek. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a black hole for me. One of them makes me want to kill myself, the other one doesn't. It's, that's, like, I'm the problem. PCs are not the problem, I'm the problem, and that's okay. I'm broken in a million different ways. This is just one of the million. It's, you know, it's just life sometimes. Let's get into Velocidrone! I gotta move some windows around here. I got this over here, I got this over here. I got this calculator up. I gotta pull this chat over here. And we are good to go. Coming into multiplayer, so here's the frame that you guys want to fly. It's the Rooster. It seems to be the most like freestyle-y frame in Velocidrone. So, and since we are going to be trying to fly together in a nice tight little pack, we want to equalize our settings as much as possible. So make sure that you pick the Rooster frame, and I'm gonna select quad, and the name of the room is going to be CiottiFPV Freestyle. and I am going to host the session in the America server region. Hey, here's something else that we're going to have to deal with. Velocidrone is going to be, they've got an update coming that is going to age out my 2009 computer here. So when this next Velocidrone update comes out, if you still want to do this with me on Sundays, don't update. I think you can backdate. The Velocidrone in the past has always left the old versions on their website, so if you accidentally update, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think you're just going to have to, yeah, go back a version. But, yeah, that's something that might potentially be coming. At some point, hopefully, I'll be able to get going on the laptop, which is like 4 years newer, I think, than the desktop. One of the things I realized recently about the laptop is how loud it is with the fans running. And the fans are right, well, the microphone is right here under this little window here. And the laptop is right here. So I don't really know how that's gonna, I'll figure out, I'll cross that road when I get there. We're gonna go to, I think it's Empty Polyworld. Mark, you set up the map, right? So I get so many messages from so many different people, and I'm already like pretty bad with names. I apologize if it's, I'm pretty sure it's you, Mark. Mark has built a map for us. And I think he said it's here in Empty Polyworld. I guess it's not. Whole comment in a second. Because I think he's in the chat. Yeah, there he is. Oh yeah, you know, we've completely moved away from combat mode. Everybody's been so everybody's been freaking out about how much fun this lead follow has been that I completely forgot about Empty Scene Day. There we go. Yeah, I totally forgot about combat mode. Alright, so there's somewhere in here it should say, wow, oh my god. Why are there so many in here? Holy crap on a pancake. What's it called? Empty Day Scene, where is it at? Where is it at? Mark, what's the name of it? Spender says, let's knock the dust off those ass blasters. Ass blaster is the name of the quad that you have to choose to get into combat mode. There's an Empty Day Scene called School is Canceled. That's great. Where is it? Where is it? I thought it would be under C for CiottiFPV, but I didn't see it up there. And then I scrolled a little too fast. It does start with Ciotti. I thought so. I thought that's what Mark said. Did I miss it? No, it's not here. See? There's a bunch of boners. Boners Bando Tower. Boners Freestyle Bando. Boners Looper. I just wanted to say boners over and over again. Where's it at, Mark? Can you guys see it? And I can't? Is it possible for me to be that bad at computers that I can't even read something on the screen? That's called Troll Race. That's great. Filter tracks. Enter track name. Good call. Is it maybe Empty Scene Night? No, that's not finding it. You'll have to look it up under Create. Okay, how do I do that? Is Create in here? Wait, no, let's go to empty scene day. So Toxic FPV says if it is a custom map, you'll have to look it up under create. Where's create though? Favorite, new tracks, enter track name. There is a lobby up. Okay, so I guess I can just join the lobby and then I just won't be the admin. So whoever's lobby this is, you're gonna have to be the admin, and you're gonna have to make sure that everybody's a different color, and then when I tell you to, you're gonna have to close the room to kick everybody out that's flying, and then you're gonna have to open a new room. So just keep that in mind. So this is the session. It's called CiottiFPV for real this time, and I'm gonna join it. And all right, let's get this going here. Oh, you guys were looking at me. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's only 3 rooms in the America region. You'll see it. All right. Cool. So we are in here. I am not plugged in or turned on the transmitter. So let me get that going real quick. And hey, here's another tip for you guys. On your transmitter, make a model for simulator where you turn your antenna off, and it'll save your batteries and it'll also save your antenna. God forbid you run Crossfire. Don't let your radio sit here banging away on the Crossfire module with no antenna plugged in it. It can't possibly be good for it. It might not be all that bad for it, but it it's not going to make it work better. And it's just going to kill the batteries for no reason. So USB, oh God, take it easy, fella. All right, cool. So Mark made this with a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, wait, you guys can't see me. Where's the stuff? Is it off the corner of the... Do we have to go really far to find the... Oh, nope, that's outside the map. Mark sent me a whole bunch of pictures of it. So I know it's somewhere in here. Oh, look at the... My trim is all jacked up on the radio. Huh, where is everything? The textures are not loading for you. Anything I can do about it? Velocidrone's audio is also like completely effed. Leadfinger says we are in the wrong map. Yeah, I'm just gonna bail on this and go to city because I don't want to waste. We're already like 10-15 minutes into technical issues. So let me go to city. Oh wait, no. Mark says to reset, hit R. So let me go back in there and I'll try that because it's easy just to rejoin. Join session. Okay. Let's give this a shot here. In the chat, let me make sure I'm caught up here. Shameless FPV says, I get you, man. I'm a Mac user too for work and stuff. Hate using PCs too. Sucks ass, but none of the sims work well on Mac. I thought it was just my Mac. Brian Ladrow says, I'm with you. I hate PCs. We'll spend more money for something that will actually work. Yeah, that's my exact sort of approach. Rick Spada says, what specs are you looking for on a Mac? I think I have a Mac Mini that I don't need that has 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. Not sure which processor it has, but I could boot it up and let you know. Rick, do me a huge favor and message me. I would love to talk about that because a Mac Mini is going to be a lot less loud than the... I really like the idea of doing everything on the laptop, but I just don't know if it's gonna work. Let's talk though. Cannon Hughes says, thoughts on the Protec 35. Cannon, I don't even know what that is. Do me a favor, tag me again and tell me what the Protec 35 is. Maybe even give me some specs, and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, cool. So it looks like it drew now. Let me just... see how it performs. So Mark made us this this map specifically designed for this lead follow that we've been doing. Oh wait, hold on. Here, let me show you guys the settings that you want to be running. Change quad settings. I've just got all the drags on 100%. Propeller size 5141. Propeller power 60%. None of the rest of these really matter. Camera angle matters. Run 30 degrees of camera angle, and then make sure that you go in here to advanced drone setup and put your rates in, just to make it a million times easier for you to fly. Man, the audio is just brutal. It was doing this. I don't know what the hell's going on with the audio. It is just awful. Alright, so let me hit R to get to the restart point, so... looks like it's working. Yeah, alright, cool. So... thanks, Rick. Sounds good. Alright, so everybody's going to hit R. Everybody that's flying is going to hit R. That's going to zip them to the starting point. And then the first person that takes off will... actually, it's going to be me. But the way that it works... why can I not take off? Whoever's the admin, please jump in and make everybody a different color. Please make me magenta, which I think I already am. I'm taking off in 3, 2, 1. So our ideal cruising speed is 40 miles an hour, which you can see in the top right corner. So we want to try to cruise at 40 miles an hour. And we're just going to stay on this track, and we want to try to stay in a nice close group. What's this here? So I guess we got to jump over this. Oh, okay. All right, so if we go straight ahead, let's do this instead. To get warmed up, it looks like there's an outer... loop. So let's get on the outer loop. And it takes a while to kind of get warmed up and to get our little group as tight to each other as possible. So let's just go on this outer loop, and let's just spend our time on the outer loop here, getting kind of dialed in. Whoever's in the lead, you need to resist the urge to do what I'm doing and turn around and look back. You want to just keep flying forward. I'm the cameraman. I'm the person streaming, right? So I'm not the best person to follow. But hopefully you guys will pass me at some point here, and then I can get you on camera, and we can start flying closer together. Alright, so now I let you guys lead. So yeah, when you're the leader, just try to get to 40 miles an hour, and then just stay as solid as possible. And before too long, somebody will pass you, almost guaranteed. So I'm getting nose down here to catch up with you guys. And so we've got 3 of us right now. I think I saw a 4th. There's a 5th coming. Let me catch up. Oh, no, wait, there we go. Yeah, we got a nice little group here. All right, so I'm catching up here. So yeah, the point is to be as gentle and slow on the sticks as possible so that the whole group of us can get together, and we're always chasing the leader. Like, we always want to link up on the leader, and it looks like that's Can King. So Can King, you're doing an awesome job setting the pace. Much appreciated. I'm going to pass you and look back at everybody else. So everybody else needs to catch up with Can King. And yeah, let's get grouped up, and we'll just keep flying around the outer loop here. And I'm going to be a cameraman and just do cool stuff, hopefully cool, to show the group. And yeah, you guys, your whole job is just to try to get as close as possible to each other. Man, my thumb kind of hurts from flying a bunch of batteries yesterday. And yeah, just keep working on being as smooth as possible. Somebody do me a favor and pass Can King so that he doesn't have to be the leader forever. That's kind of the point, right? Like, you guys want to get as close as possible to the leader, and in doing so, you're going to end up passing the leader, and that's a good thing. Once you become the leader, just set the pace, 40 miles an hour. I like to fly really low, but you don't have to. I know flying really low is a lot harder than oh, for Christ's sakes, Larry. Let me try to catch up with you guys. Looking for the trails. So I love how big this map is, but it's gonna potentially mean trying to catch the group is a little bit difficult. I have a feeling they're over here. Well, you know how we can just catch them is just go backwards. Just go backwards on the loop, and you'll catch the... Oh, here they come. Here they come. Alright, here we go. Who's leading now? A fellow Magenta is leading. Let's get nice and close. It's DJ... Kyle, I think that says. It's hard to read it. So, let me see if I can get a little nice low to the ground. All right, guys, catch up. Let's get the group nice and tight here. Okay, or I can just start crashing like a jackass. So it looks like we've kind of, without realizing it, decided that we're going to fly counterclockwise. So in order to catch back up with the group, you just got to go clockwise, and then you'll catch. Whoever's the admin in here, can you change the colors? It looks like everybody is either green or purple. If you just go into members, you can just change each individual person's color. That'll make it a little bit easier to kind of see each other. DJ Cycle doing an awesome job leading the pack. It's cool, man. This really highlights how difficult it is to and how much we move around without even really knowing it. Like, you would think that like getting locked in on each other and flying really close to each other would be a lot easier than this, but my God, is it difficult. DJ is doing an awesome job being super stable. That makes our jobs a lot easier. But I would love somebody to pass him, because he's been leading the pack for... How about this? Every lap, like this loop is long enough where every lap, let's try to have somebody else jump into the lead. And, oh, nice. A green just changed to white right before my eyes. So whoever is an admin, you're doing a good job. Is this Cool Coyote? Yes, it's Cool Coyote. I am right on your tail, and of course I went by. It is so incredibly hard to match speeds with somebody else. Seems like I have some lagginess too. That's what I'll blame it on. I think I have mid-airs turned off too, so hopefully I don't knock people out of the sky. But I'm just hanging out. Cool and I are just hanging out. Here comes Can King. He's coming in hot, taking the lead for us. Who's this here? There's DJ again. He's getting into the trails. All right, let me get some, let me throw some music on, just so it's a little bit more interesting. Epidemic Sound, Don't Let Me Down. That rhymed inadvertently. Recommendations. Hopefully it's not terrible. Alright, so much for that. There's something going on with this computer where it can't handle audio anymore. And like the Velocidrone audio is all horrible. I don't understand it. It just makes no sense. But Spotify seems to work, so I'm pulling up one of Harris Heller's playlists here. Let's give it a shot. There we go. All right. Very strange. Let me get this level. All right, that's pretty good. So let me go back the other direction. I'll intersect the group, and then we'll try to get even closer. And then I am actually going to ask for everybody to cycle out, because I'm sure that we have a bunch of people that are just spectating. How do you guys like this map compared to City? City seems maybe a little bit easier because we're just going back and forth. Full throttle turnaround. Alright, who's leading? Yellow is leading. Who's that? Let me get close so I can read their name. Oh my god, Yellow, you're going so fast. Try to bring it down to 40. Just pitch it. Oh no, you're going. You're good. You're good. You're good. I was just having to catch up. I'm trying to get close enough to Yellow to be able to read their name. I think you might be going a little... Oh, Yellow's gone. Oh no, I might have just passed him. There comes somebody in the other direction. Awesome. Yellow's name won't come up. What's going on here? I'm getting pretty close. Alright, Yellow, stay nice and solid. I'm gonna get all up on you. Hey, your name's not coming up. It's weird. Oh god. Uh-oh. Alright, locking on the cool coyote here. Oh god, no. I don't know why I did that. You just get rammy sometimes on the sticks. Oh, look at this little pack of fools. Yeah, now you guys are getting close together. All right. There goes angular FPV. I like how it breaks up under that bridge. That's cool. It's very different. It's DJ again. It's super different flying around and trying to like film a group of quads. There are some similarities to chasing drift cars, but there are but this is pretty unique. This is a pretty unique way to move the camera around for me. Angular is going through the bubbles, and I'm trying to join them. Keep turning left though. What's going on? Go straight. Go straight, quad. Look at these guys coming through. All right, chat. Let me know what you want to do. I'm gonna drop everybody out. Should we go back to city or should we stay here? Chat, you guys get to pick. I'm going to click on the chat window. Oh, for God's sakes. I forgot that when I click on the chat window, it takes away my control from Velocidrone. Man, my left thumb has like a big dent in it from flying yesterday. I don't know if I love these... oh, wait, no. I was just chasing one person. I don't know if I love these STP thumbstick things. Where is everybody? Did everybody get broken up? Here, come on, full speed, full speed. Catch up to the, there's a couple guys that kind of broke out. Oh, there they go. You know what? Hold on, before we jump out of here, let's do some freestyle shit. What could be cool is at the corners of this map, we do this big dive like we were doing in the city. My God, it is hard to incorporate the dives, though, as a group. Oh, boy. So wait, yeah, that's up on this corner. Let me do this. You guys seem to like it when I fly a little bit of freestyle, so let me just let me do a little freestyle. I want to go here. No, let me pick a little bit of a better song than this. Let's go with White Lotus. That's a good one. All right, here we go. Here comes your Sunday Velocidrone freestyle battery. Balls. I'm flying like a bag of smashed assholes right now. Alright. Let's... Oh, cool. Mark says each corner tower is a different color and has a different freestyle feature. I get it. I actually considered how we'd... Oh my God, I can't speak. I actually considered how we would communicate where we are, so that's the ticket. Got it. You know what I was thinking? You know what I noticed? So let's cycle people out. Everybody that's been flying, drop, and all the spectators, you should be able to come in. In the real world, you know what a good way to do this is? Train tracks. If you and as many buddies as you can find train tracks, usually train tracks are damn near perfectly straight. You can do this in real life. I'm wondering if there's train tracks in the game, Mark. Are there train tracks that you can screw around? Not screw around. That you can add. That might. You know what that would also do is it would suck us in, and it would give us like a very a narrow target to hopefully group the pack together a little bit. So it looks like there's some new people jumping in, there's some people jumping out, very cool. Let's come back here. Oh, is there a train in the game, Cannon says. That's gnarly. You could put trains on, oh my god. That's cool. That's very cool. Alright, so follow magenta. I'm going to set the pace. We're going to go counterclockwise again, and I just left the starting blocks. You can hit the R button to get back to the start. And I just made a right off the start. Just made a right, and we're running this thing counterclockwise. You guys take the lead. I want to go screw around over here and see what this is all about. Or I'll just smash right into that, and that'll be the end of it. So yeah, see if you guys can group up, and then I will join you as the camera. But in the meantime, I'm going to go over here and smash that thing again. Oh, I knew that was going to be close. Thought I might have been able to get away with it. Alright, we're all here. Let's go. Everybody go to the right. Come on. We're all here. Ah, nice, 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 nice. Green came over. There we go. Alright, cool. So, EBRFPV, you are in the lead. Try to get to 40 miles an hour and be nice and steady. You're going to lead for pretty much an entire lap unless somebody passes you. Everybody else catch us. We just went under the yellow bridge. We are going counterclockwise. Now we're going towards the corner of the map with a big-ass orange spirey thing. I am always going to be magenta. Make sure you guys don't follow magenta. Magenta is just the camera. As the camera, I'm going to be moving all over the goddamn place. Oh boy. And crashing into the ground. Alright, you guys are doing awesome. Now we can kind of settle in and work on getting as close to each other as possible. Remember, you're always trying to get as close to the leader as possible. If everybody tries to get close to the leader, then we will naturally all group up. As the leader, your only job is to be as stable as possible. Try to do nothing on the sticks and just carry that 40 miles an hour. Being the leader is boring, but you're only ever going to lead for one lap at a time. And you're going to get on camera a whole bunch, so that's the trade-off. Everybody will see what a nice smooth pilot you are. Playing around with lead fingers here. He's getting nice and close to the leader. Whoever is the admin, it looks like you're doing an awesome job getting everybody's colors set up so that we all have a different color. I'm going to get nice and close on. Looks like Arthur for all has taken the lead. I am all over him like white on rice. Nice, Arthur. Arthur's making it very easy for me to get this close to him because he's being really quiet on the sticks. And then I can just focus on moving around him. This is really the biggest difference between following cars. They're very slow and very steady. There goes Arthur into the ground. That's okay. Somebody else is taking the lead. Cars are, whoa, look at this little group. Very cool. Cars are very big and very slow to react. So we can move around cars as if they're like tied to a tree. Whereas like quads move around so much. So it's way, way, way harder. Brandon Bentley asking, why would you acro in a whoop race? When I went to, look at this group. Oh my God, guys, good shit. Stay together. At the big Tiny Whoop race in Nashville that I went to last year, all of the non-Tiny Whoop pilots were running acro. And then all of the Tiny Whoop specific racers were running angle mode or whatever. So yeah, I have a it certainly seems like the reason to run acro in Tiny Whoop racing is that you're not a specific Tiny Whoop racer, you know what I mean? But I mean, what do I know? I don't know anything about racing. EBR-FPV doing an awesome job setting the pace right now. Jugfire says, go EBR, go. Yeah. Here come the lads. Oh my fuck. Alright, coming the other direction to catch you guys because I'm addicted to crashing. Here we go, watch this head on. I'm gonna go by the whole group, nice and low. Here comes the world's sickest head on. Yeah, yeah, yeah! Alright, catching the pack. Look at the group of lads getting the job done. Come on, lead fingers, we're catching up. Here we go. Guys, try to center yourself like the red leader is on the... if you're the leader, try to run the dots in the middle. And then maybe Mark will switch this over to train tracks to sort of more naturally force us into the center. I'm really curious, like, how tight of a group we can become. All right, green is in the lead. I can't see their name. Something 76. Here comes lead fingers. Oh wow, somebody was right on top of me, and I am right on top of lead fingers. Look at this. Arthur coming in. Nice. This is me concentrating on being as smooth as I possibly can because you guys are really getting grouped up now. The tighter the group gets, the harder it is for me, so the quieter you guys are going to hear me get. No! I was looking at the chat. That's why I flew off the road there. Alright, another head on. Try to get yourself centered, and I'll do a head on, dead center on these bubbles. Here we go. I think the head on will happen in this straight. Oh, yeah, listen to the music. Oh, yeah.
You don't know these streets like we do. 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 Know these
It's super fun. I've actually been re-watching these streams in order to kind of like see what works and see what doesn't, and see how it. Because like this is very fun for me as a pilot, right? Like flying this is very fun, but I want to try to make sure that this is fun for you guys to watch, right? Like I totally realize that this might bore you guys to tears, but that's not the response that I've gotten. Like the response that I've gotten is like, oh my god, let's do that more. It's so much fun to fly and to watch. You guys are getting really tight here. All right, like one more lap, and then everybody rotates out. And usually if we get 3 rotations in, that's pretty good. That usually kind of captures everybody and gives everybody a chance to fly. But do me a favor, if you haven't gotten a chance to fly and you've been spectating, tag me in the YouTube chat and let me know. Leaders, just always make sure you keep an eye on your speed. With all of these settings turned down, these quads max out at about 60 miles an hour, so cruising at 40 miles an hour is important for everybody to be able to catch up. Speaking of, we're down to like 4 of us. I think we lost some peoples. No! Halfboard wants to fly. Alright, they're coming. The lads are coming. Here they are. Ooh! Alright, we got to the start finish. Everybody rotate out, please! And then I think everybody else will be able to get in. I think you guys, those of you that have been flying, just jump completely out of the room because it looks like the room is locked. Ooh, an orbit. That would be smart. Yeah, let's do that. That's a cool idea. Everybody, all the pilots should be new, jumping in. Hit the R button. Whoever's the admin, please unlock the room. I don't think I can. Oh wow, everybody just jumped out. Okay. So, Angular, I think you're the admin, maybe? Or no, wait, am I the admin now? Hold on. No, I'm not the admin yet. Alright, it looks like the room is like forever locked. Let me jump out. I'll start a new room on City, and we can do the last little session in City. I'm gonna make a room called just regular old CiottiFPV. Look how much better it looks in here now that the sun has dropped down a little bit. I gotta go out and fly though. Okay, no. Yeah, we're gonna do another like 10 minutes here, and then I'm gonna shut this down because I gotta go out and do a little bit more testing on the high-speed rig. So select quad. If you haven't flown, I want you to jump in first, and then if we don't have a full room, I'll say everybody else jump in. The name of this room is just gonna be CiottiFPV. I'm gonna host session. I'm gonna go to. Shameless says, "Don't reset. I just got in." Shameless, I'm opening up a new room. You're gonna join for sure. I'm gonna go to City, and I'm just gonna leave it on pylons, and I'm gonna select scenery. And my thumb is getting a little angry from these STP stick ends. I don't know. My regular stick ends didn't do that. Come on. There it goes. All right, cool. So here we are. If you haven't flown, please jump in right away. If you have flown, please just give it a second and then jump in. I'm gonna switch everybody's colors. So what we do on the City is we just go up and down the main street. So you guys can just start going up and down the main street and try to group up. I'm gonna fix people's colors. Ah, nice. Somebody did it for me. Now we've got like a million greens. You guys don't have to fix your colors. I'm gonna fix them for you. So let me make somebody a yellow. This green is gonna go light blue. This green is gonna go white. We've got two. Okay, blue just changed to yellow. That's fine. Now we've got 2 yellows though, 2 blues. Let's fix that. We're gonna go orange. Wait, there's a lot of people flying in here. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, it looked like more than that. Flying. Okay, cool. So it looks like we got one of every color. Hopefully everybody in here. Oh, you guys are looking at me. Duh. All right, I'm gonna hide the chat, and here we go. One last session here. Where's everybody at? Oh boy, as I crash into the goddamn buildings. Have you guys found a, wait, somebody else's magenta? Hold on, let me fix that. Don't follow magenta. Magenta is the color that you never want to follow. There we go. Alright, cool. Because magenta is the cameraman. I think I see the lads down here. Let's catch up. Oh, there they go. Oh my god. Oh my god. What? Alright, so at the, and then at the end of the street, you're gonna wait until this crosswalk, full throttle, split S, and get it turned around. Try to wait for that crosswalk before you blip the throttle to shoot yourself up in the air for the split S. And we've got white in the lead. And so let's just get this going. Wait till the crosswalk. Throttle, split S. And right back in. If we all blip the throttle at the crosswalk, it'll... oh my god. It'll prevent the size of the split S's from being drastically different. Look at this. It's so crazy, like, just to see, like, the trails going down the, like, a street, right? Like, it's just crazy. It just makes me imagine, like, how insane it would be for that to actually happen. Alright, let me give you guys some audio, and I'll try to make this look cool. Oh my god, maximum what's the word? Concentration. Oh my god. Woo! It is just such a different way to fly. Very cool, guys. Oh my god, my left thumb is I don't know about these stick ends, man. I don't know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take them off. That was super fun, guys, but I've got to go fly for real. So thanks for joining me. That was an absolute blast. I'm gonna go put some more time into this high-speed rig to get it dialed in and figure out which batteries and props and tune setups that I need to be going with. Let me get caught up on the chat though real quick here, because I know that there are some there are some unanswered questions. So let me just quit out of Velocidrone, that'll drop the room into somebody else's name. And where are we at in the chat here? Oh yeah, right. Mark says the straight after the reset is more like what we're doing in the city map. That's right. We can just, from the start of Mark's map, we can just go straight and then split S and turn around and then go back onto the thing and maybe... Oh, okay, cool. All right, we'll do that next Sunday. Very cool. People talking about flying. Xenakis FPV with a question. Talon F7 versus Acon. I usually run 30 by 30 stacks using Crossfire plus DJI and GPS from doing long range. I'd prefer SD slot if possible. SD slots, I don't know if we're really going to see them anymore. I've never seen a 20 by 20 with an SD card slot, but on most 2020s you are getting 16 megs of internal memory for black box, which is better than nothing. Is it really only 16 megs? Yeah, I guess. The Talon F7 is great for micros, but on 5-inch rigs, it seems like it's ever so slightly too fragile. Although I do have I actually have two 5-inch rigs that still have the Talon F7s in them, and they're totally fine. Acon, the Acon V 1.1 that I really like is discontinued. Acon did finally get back to me, but I like this one for analog. For digital, there is a current 20 by 20 Acon V2, I think it's called. It's in stock at Pyrodrone, and it's great for digital. So Acon over Talon F7, but if you're on analog, yeah, it's the Talon F7, which will be fine. And Acon is getting back to me about whether or not they're going to replace this V 1.1 with anything for us analog plebs. Really good question, Evan. Scroll. EBR saying thanks. All right, cool. We're good to go. I'm going to shut this down. I will see you guys again tomorrow night. Is tomorrow night a giveaway night? I think it is, isn't it? We didn't do we did do giveaways last... I think we did giveaways last Monday because I still haven't shipped stuff. So I think tomorrow night will not be a giveaway night. It'll be the Monday after that. So tomorrow night is a Monday, Micro Monday, Monkey Monday, Marf, Moof. Probably we'll do Micro Monday. Yeah. We'll do Micro Monday because I've been meaning to switch the motors out on that 2.5-inch rig. So cool. Micro Monday tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'm gonna go fly in real life. I'm actually gonna... Nah, you know what I won't... I'm not gonna take these off. Here's what I do. When I had to do this to the stock stick ends, I just take a little tiny diamond file and just knock the edges off, and just do it slowly, because you want a little bit of anger on the stick ends, but not so much that, in my opinion, not so much that it hurts my fingies after flying 2 days in a row. The simulator is crazy though, because the simulator you fly for like an hour straight. In the real world, you never really fly for that long of a time period, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you just take a little file and just knock the sharp edges down a little bit. And then your fingies won't hurt. My fingers hurt. Oh yeah? Well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled gardening duty? Oh yeah? Your fingers hurt, huh? Come on. Putting it in between each one. Just kind of softening the edges. Smoothing it out, baby. Let me do that to this one too. I'm doing this with it standing so that the little metal shavings don't fall into the gimbal. Pro tip. This is the last thing that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to shut the stream down. Not really interesting enough to show you guys, to be honest with you. I'm just pulling the file down the things. If you're still here, you're a trooper. Or you're still in there flying around in Velocidrone. Okay. Alright, let's see how that is. I'll let you guys know tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I am not a thumber, I am a pincher. These are the closest that I've found. I really like the stock stick ends. But they're just so boring. These are purple. And up until my fingers started hurting a minute ago, they'd been kind of flawless. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, people. If you want me to keep doing this full time, you gotta go to CiottiFPV.com and you gotta pick a thing to do. You can jump on my Patreon, you can click some of the affiliate links, you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy some stickers, you can do all the things. Or you can just come here and hang out. That helps too. It helps the algorithm. Thanks for hanging. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern. Bye-bye!